So this happened last week, and I'm still trying to process the sheer audacity of it all. I need to get this out because what happened next sounds completely unhinged, but every word is true. I'm Thomas. I've been a stepfather to Stella for 3 years. My wife Delilah and I have been married just as long, trying to build a family together. But this Sunday morning, something felt off the moment I walked into our living room. The house was unusually quiet, but that wasn't it. Then I noticed. All our family photos looked different. I stepped closer to the large frame above the fireplace, the one from our Yellowstone trip last summer. The photo was there, but I wasn't. Every picture of me had been carefully removed, leaving awkward gaps in moments spanning the last 3 years. I stood there, coffee growing cold, when I heard Stella's door upstairs close softly. Her footsteps paused at the top of the stairs. After a moment, she continued down, phone in hand, deliberately avoiding eye contact as she headed for the kitchen. "Morning," I said, keeping my voice neutral. The silence that followed was heavy, deliberate. 3 years. 3 years of trying to build trust with her, movie nights, homework help, being there without pushing too hard, and now at 16, she was pulling away. I'd expected typical teenage rebellion, but this felt different. It started last week. I offered to help with her chemistry project. She'd been struggling. Her response felt like a slap. "Stop pretending you care about my grades. You're not my real dad." I'd heard variations of that before, but this time it was sharp, deliberate. Delilah heard it too, but she said nothing. That silence felt like choosing sides. The tension escalated over the week. Dishes left in the sink with pointed looks, doors slammed, conversations that stopped when I entered the room. Delilah grew distant, deflecting when I tried to talk. "She's just being a teenager, Thomas. Don't make it about you." But last night, everything exploded. Stella was texting at dinner against our usual rules. When I reminded her gently, she threw her phone down. "God, why are you always policing me? Why can't you just leave me alone?" I tried to reason with her. "I'm just trying to..." "To what? Play dad? I already have one. Why don't you just disappear? Nobody asked you to try so hard, it's pathetic." I looked at Delilah, expecting some kind of intervention, but instead she quietly said, "Maybe we'd all be better off if you did." The words hung in the air like smoke. 3 years of memories flashed through my mind. The day Stella laughed at one of my dad jokes, the night she called me crying over a breakup, the proud look on Delilah's face when Stella asked me, not her mother, for prom advice. I stood, half-eaten dinner on the table. "Okay," I said simply. "Okay what?" Stella challenged, a flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. I walked upstairs to our bedroom and packed a duffel bag. Clothes for a few days. I could hear them whispering downstairs, but nobody came up. My hands weren't shaking. I felt oddly calm. When I came down, Stella was gone, probably to her room. Delilah stood in the kitchen doorway, arms crossed. "So you're just leaving? That's your solution?" "I'm respecting what you asked," I replied, checking my keys. I drove to my friend Ryan's place in silence. He didn't ask questions, just set up the guest room. That's the kind of friend he is. This morning, sunlight streamed through unfamiliar curtains. When I finally turned on my phone, it exploded with notifications, missed calls, texts, voicemails. I haven't listened to any of them. I'm sitting in Ryan's guest room, thinking about those empty spaces in our family photos. Maybe they were always there, and I just didn't want to see them. My phone buzzed again. Stella. After everything, I stare at her name, wondering what could be so urgent. But I'm not ready. Not yet. Sometimes the hardest thing isn't walking away. It's knowing whether you should walk back. Update. Thank you for all the support on my last post. Most questions I've seen. Yes, I've read your messages. No, I haven't replied. And yes, I'm still at Ryan's. This morning, Ryan dropped a bomb over breakfast. Miles is back in town. There on Facebook was a photo of Stella's biological father, Miles, tagged at a local restaurant 2 weeks ago. The same man who hasn't paid child support in 3 years, missed Stella's last 4 birthdays, and disappeared the last time she let him back in. Suddenly, the timing of everything made sense. Delilah's texts had evolved from anger to concern. "There's something you need to know. Stella, please call." Quinn, my sister, showed up around lunch, coffee in hand, ready to intervene. Then I learned Stella had been meeting Miles for coffee. He'd been messaging her for months. Her latest Instagram post, a picture with Miles captioned, "Real family time." Heart emojis in the comments. None of her friends knew the history. Ryan reminded me the last time Miles showed up, it ended badly. Stella was 13. Grand promises, 2 weeks, then gone again. It took months to rebuild her trust. And now, she's actually considering moving in with him. I started typing responses, then deleted them all. What can you say to that? "Sorry, you told me to disappear, but now you need me to reappear." Then came another notification, Stella's new Instagram story. College brochures spread across her bed, captioned, "Big changes coming. Sometimes you have to choose your real path." Those were Miles's exact words from 3 years ago, right before he moved across the country, chasing his real path, and stopped answering Stella's calls. I felt the weight of it all. Quinn must have noticed the look on my face. "What are you thinking?" she asked. I sighed. "About the day I married Delilah," I said slowly. "Remember what Stella said in her speech? How sometimes family finds you when you're not looking for it. And now, she's posting about her real family and her real path, while Miles plays Father of the Year. He's got her convinced." My phone rang. Unknown number. "Thomas, this is Miss Anderson from Riverside High. I'm Stella's guidance counselor. I know this is unusual, but I need to speak with you about some concerning changes in Stella's academic plans and recent behavior. Would you be able to come in tomorrow morning?" I agreed, my mind racing. Stella had been straight A since freshman year, determined to get into a top college. What could have changed? Quinn and Ryan were both watching me, waiting. Quinn prompted gently, "I think it's time to stop being silent." I picked up my phone and finally listened to the voicemail from Stella. Her voice was small, lacking its usual confidence. "I know you probably hate me now. And I get it. I need to tell you something about why I said those things about Miles. Please, call me back." Hearing her voice brought back memories of the 13-year-old who used to check the mailbox daily, hoping for a letter that never came. I confirmed my meeting with Miss Anderson for 9 o'clock the next morning. After that, I knew it was time for honest conversations. Disappearing sometimes gives you clarity. But the school's number was still on my screen, next to a text from Miles in our family group chat. "Great news. Big announcement at dinner tomorrow night." I knew exactly what that announcement would be, and I wasn't going to let history repeat itself. Update 2, I spent the last hour trying to figure out how to write this. The meeting with Miss Anderson revealed things I never expected. I arrived at Riverside High early, watching students rush to first period. Some classmates recognized me. Their whispers confirmed rumors about my absence were already circulating. Miss Anderson didn't waste time. "Stella submitted paperwork yesterday to withdraw from her advanced placement classes," she said, sliding a form across the desk. "She's also dropping French club and student council." My chest tightened. These were the programs Stella had fought to be part of, the ones she'd been banking on for college applications. When I asked why, Miss Anderson continued, she said she's transferring schools next semester. Then came more. Stella had asked to send her transcripts to 3 schools in California, the same city where Miles recently bought property. The pieces clicked. I showed Miss Anderson Miles's big announcement text. She nodded. Stella mentioned he needed family investors for his tech startup. That familiar sick feeling returned, the same one I got 3 years ago when Miles convinced Delilah to loan him money for a sure-thing business venture. Money we never saw again. I drove straight home. Delilah's car was in the driveway. Through the window, I saw her pacing in the kitchen, phone pressed to her ear. She spotted me and rushed to the door. "He asked for money," she said immediately. "Her college fund. He's filling her head with promises. If she invests now, she can pay for any college she wants." "Where is she?" I asked. "Coffee with Miles." Delilah's voice cracked. I tried warning her it was a scam, but she accused me of jealousy. "At least he believes in her dreams," she said. I sat at the kitchen counter, the same spot where everything fell apart a week ago. "Why didn't you tell me he was back?" I asked. I tried to handle it myself. Thought if I kept them apart. She shook her head. "Then you and Stella had that fight. She said those things, and I panicked. I sided with her because I was afraid if I didn't, she'd choose him completely. Before I could respond, the front door opened. Stella walked in. She froze. Makeup done carefully. An expensive jacket Miles must have bought her. But her eyes were red. "What are you doing here?" she asked, but the usual edge in her voice was gone. "Dropping your AP classes," I asked gently. "Really? What happened to Stanford?" "Plans change," she muttered, avoiding my gaze. "Dad says—" "Miles says," I corrected quietly. A flicker of uncertainty crossed her face. I pulled out my laptop, opening documents I'd gathered that morning. Business registration, credit reports, lawsuits from Miles's past ventures. Stella's hands trembled as she took the laptop. With each click, the facade she had carefully built began to crack. When she reached the lawsuit from his previous stepdaughter's grandmother seeking to recover college funds he'd borrowed, the first tear fell. She swallowed hard. "He said he's changed," she whispered, "that he wants to make up for lost time, that we could be a real family." Stella stopped looking up at me suddenly. "The photo album," she whispered. "He said I had to prove I was choosing him. That you were the reason he stayed away, because you took his place." "Oh, sweetie." Delilah stepped toward her, but Stella instinctively stepped back. "I knew," she said quietly. "Deep down, I think I knew. But I wanted so badly to believe." Her phone buzzed. Another text from Miles. She stared at it for a long moment, then turned it off completely. "I have to go," she said abruptly, heading upstairs. I need to think." We let her go. Sometimes space is the kindest thing you can offer. Hours passed. Delilah and I talked, for the first time in weeks, about our fears, our mistakes, Stella, Miles, and us. Around midnight, I was preparing to head back to Ryan's when my phone lit up. A text from Stella. "I messed up. Everything's messed up. Can we talk? I mean, really talk. Not about Miles or money, just... Remember when we used to get ice cream after my dance classes and you let me rant about school drama? Could we maybe do that? I know I don't deserve it, but I'm typing this from the car parked outside our usual ice cream place. It's technically closed, but the owner knows us. He's staying open late, just for us." Stella pulled up in her mum's car, probably working up the courage to come in just like I was. Sometimes the hardest conversations start with the smallest steps. Or in this case, with mint chocolate chip ice cream at midnight. Final update. That night changed everything. Stella talked for hours about Miles's manipulation, her fears, and her guilt. But it was a passing comment that caught my attention. He had been asking her to convince her friend's parents to invest in his startup too. A light clicked on in my mind. The lawsuits I had discovered, the pattern of targeting families through their children, it all fit. The rage I'd been suppressing finally had purpose. "You know," I said carefully, "what he's doing isn't just wrong. It's illegal." Stella looked up from her melting ice cream. I explained securities fraud, unauthorized investment schemes, and the evidence I'd collected. Her eyes widened as she showed me group chats where Miles had been soliciting investments directly. After dropping her home, I made calls. Quinn has a friend at the SEC, Ryan knows someone in the DA's office. By morning, we had a plan. Miles didn't see it coming. He was focused on his big announcement dinner where he planned to convince Stella to sign over her college fund, inviting other parents as potential targets. The dinner was at an upscale restaurant. He was in his element, talking about Silicon Valley connections and guaranteed returns. I waited until the appetizers arrived. Then I stood up. "Before we continue," I said, "there are some people who'd like to join us." 2 federal agents and a state investigator walked in. Miles's face went from confident to confused to terrified. It turned out Miles wasn't just running one scam. Investigators found 7 fraudulent schemes across 3 states. Every time he reconnected with Stella over the years, he'd been setting up new victims. The classic car dealership that cost Delilah her savings. Part of a larger scheme. The food truck franchise, same pattern, but this time he'd gotten sloppy. Every message, every email to Stella was documented. When she forwarded them to investigators, his fate was sealed. The parents at the dinner were wearing wires. Every promise, every lie, every illegal pitch recorded. Miles tried to run, knocking over a waiter in his haste, but made it only 3 steps before security stopped him. He looked at Stella, pleading, "Sweetie, this is a misunderstanding. Tell them I'm your father." Stella stood tall, shoulders straight. "My father's right here," she said, gripping my hand, "and he just watched you get exactly what you deserve." The aftermath was intense. News coverage, victim statements, more families came forward. Investigators recovered over $2.3 million in stolen funds. Miles's startup was nothing, just a website and stolen photos of a real tech company's office. He's facing 15-20 years. But the real victory wasn't watching him get arrested. It was the small moments that followed. Stella put all her photos with Miles in a box for evidence. She smiled, genuinely this time. She reapplied for AP classes. The school was understanding given the circumstances. Her friends' parents formed a support group for families affected by similar scams. Something good came from something awful. Last night, Stella asked me to help with her college essays. "I have a pretty unique story now," she said. "How many people can write about taking down their biological father's fraud empire?" Delilah and I are in counseling, rebuilding trust, healing wounds. Watching Stella place my photos back into the family albums, carefully straightening each one, said more than words ever could. This morning, Stella came down for breakfast early, envelope in hand. "I found this in my room," she said, sliding it across. "Miles asked me to mail it last week. It's investment paperwork for his startup. I thought maybe you'd want to add it to the evidence file." "Want to deliver it to the investigators together?" I asked. She grinned, the real unguarded smile I'd missed. "Can we get ice cream after?" Some might say the revenge was harsh. Family is family, but real family doesn't steal your future. Real family protects you, even if it means protecting you from others who claim to love you. Miles's sentencing is next month. Stella's writing her victim impact statement, carefully choosing each word. And through it all, she's thriving, helping other kids spot similar scams, pursuing her real path, not the one Miles tried to sell her. Tonight, we're having a quiet family dinner, the three of us. Stella's making her famous pasta sauce, the one we learned from cooking videos during lockdown. Normal, boring, wonderful family stuff. Miles will have plenty of time to think about that from his cell.